Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'll briefly walk through the data warehousing concepts. Uh, so if you have attended any interviews or if you're planning to attend any interview related to data engineering job or a reporting BI engineer, senior BI engineer or data engineer job, right? This concept will be very useful, right? Especially when you are attending the interview for either data architect, data warehouse architect, or senior data architect, or the data engineer. These questions definitely will come up. I can guarantee you that it will come up if you are interviewing for the reporting position such as BI reporting, such as MicroStrategy, Tableau, Power BI. These are all BI reporting tools. If you are interviewing for those positions, these questions may or may not come up, but I'm pretty sure some part of this concept interview will definitely touch base upon, because when you're talking about reporting, it's just not just tell me about what work you have done in Tableau, right? Obviously the Tableau connects to the data, and then from there it basically brings up or pulls up the records, right? So definitely they will touch base upon the SQL and data warehousing part of it. So my channel, right, it will cover all the concepts like related to data warehouse, related to SQL, and related to reporting. So before I move on, right, I request you, all of you, to subscribe to my channel, also like my videos, right? I'm just starting with a new channel, and I'll share my experience, right? I have around 18 to 19 years of experience in the BI and data warehousing field. I'm and I have worked on a lot of different projects, lot of different industries like retail, finance, and etc. etc. So I have tons of knowledge in the warehousing field, data warehousing field, reporting field, and I'll share those knowledge with you. And that will encourage me, if you subscribe to the channel and if you like my videos, it will encourage me to make more videos and help you guys. I'll also try and cover what kind of questions can be asked in interview, right? So if you are preparing for any positions in the top tech companies or any company, right? I mean, these concepts are very core to the interviewers. So these questions will be asked. So let's get started with that. So if you so overall warehousing, right? So if you see this image, if you, the warehouse sits in the middle, right? So it's basically heart of the any BI reporting system, right? Any BI system, warehousing is a part of it. So if you see the starting layer, right, it's a data sources layer. So data sources layer, what it is, right? So any operational systems, flat files, right? So think of it like you have, let's say you are getting the data from 5 different source system, right? So let's say you are let's say, for example, you are a retail food chain, right? I mean, let's take an example of McDonald's, right? It's a simple, very simple. Everybody, each of us might have at least visited once in our lifetime to McDonald's, right? So McDonald's has like how many stores? 3 to 4 thousand stores. Not 3 to 4 thousand. I think they have a lot more stores, like 18 to 20,000 stores across the United States, obviously in all over the world as well. So think of it like every time you do a transaction at store, the store transaction gets stored in the file, right? Any system like file system, or there might be data warehouse, not data warehouse, sorry, data like database sitting behind that. So for example, SQL Server or Teradata or whatever database is there, those transactions will get recorded, right? So think about this 30,000 stores sending different files, right? How will you do reporting out of that, right? I mean, because the reporting, when somebody wants to look at reporting, they definitely want to look at the store level reporting. So store managers will look at store level reporting, their store performance, because they are worried with their store performance, right? But if you were to ask, let's say, a director of retail, right? I mean, who is kind of managing the store, right, for a region, right? Let's say western region, for example, right? So that person is not completely worried about one store, right? That person might be handling, like, let's say 4,000 stores, right, in the western region. They want to know overall, what's the retail sales for the western region, right, his region. So, and then if the sales are going down, he would like to go and dig deep into the data, right? So if you see that, then I mean, he is not going to go and analyze each and every file of the 4,000 stores, right? So that's why the data warehouse sits into the picture. So all those 4,000 files, right, what will happen is that will get probably, so those are data sources, right? So you can imagine one store can usually in one company, usually there are basically all stores might be storing the data in a same file format, be it flat files or database, or but it could differ, right? I mean, let's say you have a system where it's storing you know let's say 1,000 stores are storing in a flat file, 1,000 stores are storing in a SQL database. Like, all the stores are not upgraded to store the data in SQL Server, right? So that is possibility, right? So that consists of the data source. Think of it like different source system files. This next stage is a staging area, right? So staging area, why we have staging area? Because staging area is, you can say, operational data source. So if you are attending interview, right, that term might come up. Like, instead of staging area, many people use operational data source, right? Why operational data source? So what will happen is, all this 5,000, 4,000, 5 or 20,000 stores file, right, that will be stored in a database, right? I mean, and a single database, so that there might be different tables, right, but the data is stored as it is. So garbage in, garbage out. So if stores have sent some kind of null records or some kind of garbage records, or whatever records, right, they have sent, what I'm trying to say is that the records are not cleansed for the final output, right? Because it's possible, right? I mean, duplicate records can happen, right? So those things can happen. So that's why staging area's job is to basically get the data, just dump it in the data warehouse, just dump it in the database, right? And not do anything with that. So that's the staging area. Then comes the warehouse. So warehouse is the, as I said before, it's a core to the any reporting system, right? And it's a heart of the any reporting system. So warehouse is where all the tricks and all the transformation and all the extract and everything will happen. All the logic is also written there. So warehouse, if you how the data is loaded in the warehouse, it's through ETL. This is another interview question that will come. What is ETL, right? So ETL is extract, transform, and load. Extract means extract the data from staging area. Transform means the data needs to be cleansed, right? So data can't be just like, we can't just load the data from staging to warehouse. It needs to be transformed. So transform could be, let's say, store level sales, right? So aggregate the data. That's why you see summary data, right? So aggregate the data, let's say, for all the stores into, let's say, a state, right? So region comes before state, like region comes after state, right? So western region can comprise of Arizona, California, Nevada, right? All those state will come up. But then, first of all, it needs to store the data at a store level first, right? And then store, you can roll it up to the state level, and then you can roll it up to the region level, then you can roll it up region, you can roll it up to a country level, then you can roll it up to a continent level, right? And then finally you can roll it up to, like, different kind of regions, like western, like Pacific, and down like Australia and all those things, right? Americas and all those things. So that's why, so the data warehouse stores the raw data as well, and the data warehouse stores the summarized data as well, depending upon the need, right? That's why this data warehouse can contain different things, like, so summary data is why summarized data can be there in warehouse, because to improve the performance, right? So consider this 20,000 stores, right? If you store this data at a day level, right, then let's say what happens, 365 days are there, right? If somebody were to do yearly reporting, right, somebody wants to do year to date reporting in, let's say, December, so almost 330 days have gone by, right, in a year, and then only 30 days are remaining. So imagine 20,000 stores into 365 days of data, and one day will have a lot of data. So if you directly query it from reporting, it's not going to give you good performance, right? I mean, and I'll make a video on performance tuning as well, but I mean, because you need to consider a lot of aspects in performance tuning, but that's why the data marts are built, right? So data marts, what it is built, so purchasing, sales, inventory, right? So how many products were purchased, how many what are the sales happened, what are the inventory, right? I mean, how many inventory we have. Take an example of a retail chain like Kohl's or JCPenney, right? I mean, they need to continuously monitor their inventory and make sure that they don't do over inventory of certain products, and they are not under inventory also for certain products which are selling very well, right? So that's why the data marts are built. The data marts can be built for yearly, monthly, daily as well, right? Because if you, like I said, yearly reporting you have to do, for this 40,000 records, then you can't afford to have a reporting query the database and do aggregation. The reporting it's going to take a lot of time. So one aspect that you need to consider is while reporting, right, is basically the reports needs to be faster. If you are going to give reports to the user which is going to run for 10 minutes, they are not going to use your reports, because nobody will, because everybody wants faster data. They don't understand, right? I mean, the final reporting users are business users, data analyst may understand, but not the reporting users, right? They want the data quick, like they don't want to just run a report and drink a coffee and come back, right? I mean, that's older days, like 25 years back, but not now. So that's why the performance is a very big consideration also, and performance related questions will also come up for sure if you are interviewing for a data engineer job. Reporting, it will also come up, right? And I'll cover that in the another video of the performance tuning of the SQL queries, right? So and also after data marts, the users, right? The way for users to consume the reporting is through through reporting systems, right? Like Power BI or Tableau or MicroStrategy, and now quick sites also. If you see Amazon, then Amazon has a quick sites reporting tool, right? So you can use I mean the clients are using that as well. If the clients are using like Amazon products like AWS and all, they kind of use the quick site as well. So all these reporting tools, right, I mean business objects and all, it's kind of one and the same, I would say. One is better than other, like we can do pros and cons, but overall it serves the same purpose, right? I mean, do analytics, correct? I mean, and some of the tools have really come up well in last few years, like Tableau is an example, which is kind of having a lot of edge because of its good visualization. Power BI is coming up very well as well. So these tools, right, so that's the end user, how they consume the data, right? Somebody wants to know what was the sales for my store last year, this year, right? I mean, the comparisons, year over year comparison, month over month comparison, like what's the sales for my region this year, this month, last quarter, right? Where the sales are dipping, right? I mean, we want to see which regions are not performing well, which stores are not performing well, right? I mean, and if there are any like which stores are performing very well, right? I mean, where the profits are going up, which products are selling well, right? When you go to McDonald's, which burgers are selling well, the burgers are selling well with Coke, or people are just buying burger, they are not buying meals, and all the analytics, right? I mean, it's huge, right? I mean, you can predict the patterns out of the existing data, right? So that's why so overall data warehousing provides this. So about the interview, the common question that can come up is, let's say they'll ask what kind of schema you prefer in warehouse. So in warehouse, right, there is two schema, star schema and snowflake schema. Star schema is where you have one fact table and you have dimension table. So dimension table, what is dimension table? So dimension table is the tables, think of it like a unit, not a unit, sorry, it's like a dimension. So year is not a measure, right? You are not, it's basically a time series, but it's not a measurement, right? So year is one dimension. Then you have SKU or item ID, right? Item ID is one dimension, right? What are facts? Facts are like revenue, sales, inventory count, profits, revenue, all those things, right? I mean, where calculation happens, right? So those are the ones that are basically your measures, or you can say your facts. So star schema is where one fact table sitting, right, and you have multiple dimension tables. So in this case of star schema, one fact table, one huge fact table is there. Let's say it's storing the records at daily level, daily transactions, right? And then daily sales, daily revenue, daily sales, daily profit, then day level gross margin, let's say on a product, right? Item, day, everything, like let's say a base table, right? That's called base table. It's fact table, it's storing all the revenue and sales and all the facts. And then you have a dimension table, right? So you have to join that, right? I mean, let's say it's stored at a day level, you need to join it to get it. Let's say you want to do monthly reporting, then you need to derive a month, right? So that's why there is a dimension table which stores relationship of year, month, week, right? And depends which client wants what, right? And then you have item. So let's say item ID is stored in the base table, but you need item name, right? So for that there is a dimension table, item name. So star schema is where basically it's the denormalized, right? I mean, denormalized means you have one fact table and then you have like multiple dimension table, right? So that's kind of a star. Snowflake is where you have one dimension, it's completely normalized, one fact table, and then you have multiple dimension table, right? So you have one table for day, one for month, one for year, right? And each basically you need to join to the each and every level. So what happens with the Snowflake is you end up doing a lot of joins, and with star schema you end up doing less joins. So if so mostly the interview will ask, and this comes up in the reporting questions a lot, is which schema as a reporting architect or a reporting developer you will prefer. And answer to that is it actually depends upon the, everybody has kind of a different kind of a different kind of structure, right? Data warehouse structure. What I have seen is best is combination, right? Depends, right? But most of the time if you were to choose one, it will be star schema. The reason for that is obvious, that the joins are less, right? I mean, and if joins are less, queries perform well, right? I mean, if you, the more joins you put in a query, more subquery you write, the performance is bad. That's why the star schema is the best concept or best schema to go with, right? I mean, that's kind of, if you were to choose one, then that's the answer, right? So it's overall basically and then another question can come up is, why do you need data warehouse, right? Why do you need warehouse? We can just query against the database. Let's say that store is storing against the data against the SQL server, let's say, and you can directly query that. Yes, you can query, but then it's just raw data, right? And it's not cleansed data, right? So remember the transformation piece of it. You won't get the data, you will have to do a lot of work, and you need to be technical if you were to do that, right? Another thing is it's not going to be good performance as well. So data warehouse is designed to basically cleanse the data as well. So there can be a lot of null records can come up in a file, duplicate records can come up. So data warehouse, what data warehouse does is, when they use the tool, so in order to load the data, right, there are tools called Informatica, Talent, all those tools are used, which basically cleanses the data, right? I mean, it will just remove the null records, it will check for the records which are not good. So for example, in an integer column, if they send a string, right, that's an error. So Informatica will detect that error. So final product, right, to the users will be cleansed product, right, with aggregated data, good performance, right? So that's why you need data. Data warehouse needs is, another need is, data warehouse you typically stores a lot of data, like many years of data, 5, 7, 8 years. I've seen 10 years as well. So somebody were to do analytics, right, then that's the best one, right? So for example, if I were to choose, like in winter in Chicago, right, I mean, which clothes will sell? Obviously, we all know in Chicago the winter is very heavy, so it snows, so obviously sweaters and jackets and all this will sell a lot, right? But then if you were to predict which brand sells well, right, what color sells well, which brand, which color, which size sells well, right? I mean, how will you do that? How will you stock up your inventory, right? I mean, it's a difficult question to answer, right? The past trend will help you in that. So if you were to look at, let's say, 10 years of data, you can figure out from the data, right? I mean, which is the highest selling product, right? Top selling product. Okay, it's jackets in the month of, let's say, October, November and December. Which color jackets? Black color jackets, right? Which brand sells well? So Columbia sportswear sells well. Then there are other brands, right, which basically does very well, like Timberland sells very well, right? Then which size is selling well for men's? Medium size is pretty common, so medium large size sells very well, right? So, and which color? Black color sells very well. So you can, and how many units were sold on an average in last 5 years, right? So you can stock up your inventory. So when come October, you should not be short of inventory, right? So in that case, what you will do is you'll make sure that by September, all those highest selling products, you have enough inventory in each of the region, right? Not each of the region. So Chicago has more, right? Chicago will have more. If you say California, right? California, it doesn't snow, it doesn't, it's not that cold. So those jackets which are heavy for snow will not sell well in California, right? California might need a light jacket. So you need to stack up the inventory, but only way to kind of predict, right? And one year you can have more sales, less sales also, but it will not be much off. It probably is going to be nearby, right? Or it's going to be more. Or and the next comes is, how do we market this? What price is the best? Then the sales and marketing team will come up, and then they will put promotions, and all those things will happen, right? But everything, the digging of the data, digging of these trends, right, analytics, basically by data analyst, business analyst, happens through this data warehouse. Data warehouse is not there. You can't do this business intelligence, this reporting, right? BI reporting. Why BI is called business intelligence, or basically making the way in an intelligent way, right? That's why this kind of BI reporting is so popular. And if you see now, I see that all the companies are having a different department for business intelligence, right? Because it's pretty important for them. If they want to grow in the market, they want to increase the sales and profit, they need to have the access to this data, right? And that's possible only through warehouse, the data warehouse, and the reporting systems. So I think I have covered almost all the pieces of the data warehouse. um, so I'll probably I'll prepare more video. Just give me a comment, right? I mean, I want this to be interactive session, so let me know if you want me to touch on the specific topic that I covered in very detail, right? And some of them I'll cover. So performance tuning is definitely I'll cover, like what questions we can ask, be asked in interview, and what you actually in real life when you're working on it, what all things you need to consider to performance tune your reports or performance tune the SQL queries, right? So I'll cover those topics. But any of this topic you want a detailed knowledge, then I'm happy to create the videos, right? Just subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll come up with more videos. Thank you.